All right, everyone. Welcome once again to our trending topic series for the month of November, where we're kind of in that holiday spirit mode. And I'm with you on that. I'm here for Thanksgiving. I'm here for the upcoming holidays and for all of the joy in between. My name is Jana, one of the dietitians, and so happy to have you along with us today. And today we are going to be focusing on one of my favorite things to do, and that is to be building a board. If you aren't familiar with boards, don't worry, I will catch you up here in a moment. But today our focus is going to be to make a Thanksgiving appetizer board, and we will be featuring California grapes, which is going to lend beautifully to this board. I'm really excited about it, and we're going to learn all about those grapes as we go along here. But let's just ask you guys here, while we're starting, in terms of boards, where are you at with that? Have you ever made a board before? I just launched a poll question. Let me know. Is it yes, it's your go-to thing that you love to make, or maybe you've only made it a couple times? Some folks might be scared to do it as they can look a little intimidating, or are you kind of in that boat of like, what in the world are you talking about right now with boards, which is completely okay. Like I said, I will catch you up to speed here in a moment. I just kind of wanted to see where we all were at in the world of boards. Um, so I'll go ahead and end the poll and share those results here. And it looks like almost half of you have made one before or a couple of times, which is really awesome to hear. Some of you are really on board with making them, and some of you are still feeling that out, which is completely okay. My hope is that after today, you feel more comfortable in making a board and maybe inspired to do so. So, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the why behind a board. Like, why do I love it so much, and why, as a dietitian, do I think it can be a great fit for any time of the year, especially with the upcoming holidays? Also, as promised, we're going to be highlighting California grapes on our board. So we're going to learn a little bit more about them, and then we're going to build it, right? I need to stop rambling so we can get into actually making and creating this board. But the why behind it, okay, the big thing is that it's trendy. Okay, here we are in our trending topics class. We're talking about something that's trendy, but what's really cool about boards is that they are evolving. It's an evolving trend in the sense that they've been around for a while. If you've been hanging out with me for the past 5 years of doing these classes, I've made quite a few boards, but they have changed over the years. Okay, they've been around for a while even before that, and charcuterie boards were really meant to have two important things, and that was cured meats and cheeses. Okay, you couldn't really call it a board if you didn't have those two things, as well as then some other accompaniments like fruits and crackers, nuts, all of that. But we have really transitioned from it just being meat and cheese to now boards can have anything and everything and celebrate any type of occasion. Okay, they really are a very versatile and fun type of thing to do, whether it is for a snack, which is kind of what we're doing today with our appetizer board, or I have made boards that have really served as a meal, especially breakfast boards are a big thing, including things like pancakes and waffles or a brunch board. All of that can be very fun. And you can theme it for a holiday like we're doing today, or birthday, any type of celebration. Baby showers are a big one. Maybe a really fun movie night, because they can be very engaging and interactive and involve the whole family. I know my daughter in particular, she's like, let's make a board. Even sometimes where I'm like, I really don't feel like making a board, but kids really can be all about it, because anyone can make a board. Okay, and that's what I'm here to show you and tell you today. If you did answer that poll question of feeling a little scared, don't, right? Everybody can do this, and it can look however you want it to. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go along here. Also, from a nutrition standpoint, why boards can be beneficial. Number one, they can help fill nutrient gaps. Okay, oftentimes boards are going to feature fruits and vegetables, and those things can sometimes be missed at meals. But if we have a board in front of us with all these fruits and veggies, it's a fun way to eat them. It's a fun way to get in those vitamins and minerals, but then also things like protein and fiber and healthy fats. Especially if you have kids who are really picky, but if they see something like cheese, which is protein, or different types of meats on a board, they might be more inclined to try them. So I definitely think it can fill nutrient gaps in that sense. And then in the way of Thanksgiving in particular, it could potentially help us avoid overeating. Okay. Some of you might be like, why am I making an appetizer before such a big meal? And I'm here to say it's because we really need to try to steer clear of that mentality of just saving up your whole appetite for that big meal. All right. It's very important to eat consistently throughout the day. So that way we can fill up in that consistent fashion and avoid overeating later when it comes to the big meal. All right, now let's switch gears a little bit to one of the main highlights that we're going to have on our board today, and that would be grapes from California. It is one of our dietitian's picks for the month. So if you're not familiar with the dietitian's pick, this is the logo here. You will see it in our weekly sales ad and throughout our classes. So be on the lookout for that so you know it's something that our team really stands behind and supports. Why is it one of our picks for the month of November? Number one there, grapes from California are naturally rich in antioxidants and polyphenols, okay? All of which can be beneficial to certain diseases, like cancer, heart disease, all of those things. We really want to be packing in those nutrients from the California grapes. Also, California grapes are in season right now, so it's a perfect time to load up on them. If you're not sure if grapes are from California, check out the packaging. If it says it's a product of USA, that means they're coming from California. You can see the California grown logo or the American flag. Sorry, guys, I have a typo there. I went through this presentation so many times. It's the American flag you want to see. Okay. But really, grapes from California, they can be very versatile. They're this wonderful ingredient from sweet to savory dishes. So grapes are not just for snacking. You can incorporate them in a lot of different ways, which we're going to show today. One way that we are going to show California grapes on our board today is to be making a very quick recipe. I've already made it for us. We're just going to assemble it onto the board, and that would be these balsamic roasted grapes with burrata. If you're not familiar with burrata, it is a mozzarella cheese that's made with cream. So you kind of cut into it and that cream breaks open and it's really lovely. So what I have done for us today is I've taken 3 cups of the red California grapes and put them on a sheet pan with a quarter of a cup of white or white or traditional balsamic vinegar. I used white balsamic vinegar, as well as 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You mix that around on the sheet pan and then roast it in the oven at 425 for 30 minutes. And then you're going to spoon that over the burrata. I did include the recipe link if you'd like to check that out further. It is there. All right, guys, shall we start building this board? I think we should. I've talked a lot, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and stop this video. And we will go over to our board, okay? So here is my board. You can use anything for a board, like a big cutting board or a sheet pan, whatever you want to do. You know, right now there's so many sales going on for the holidays. If you see a board on sale, this is your sign to buy the board, okay? So now, whenever you're building a board, how I like to approach it first is to take a couple of the bigger highlight pieces and put them on first. Okay, so my highlight pieces today, I want to make sure that we're showcasing Thanksgiving. So I have 2 mini pumpkins from our stores. And also here is that burrata I have laid out already. Okay, pull out different dishes from your cabinet, maybe some that you haven't used in a while. I really like glass or things that are like a white ceramic work well too, depending on the vibe of your board. Also back here, I have some flowers. I'm going to show you guys. Let me bring in here without getting the flowers everywhere. Here is the bouquet that I picked up from the store. And I just broke that down into little mason jars. of my own bouquets, okay? And I'm gonna sit them kind of near my pumpkins. You know what? I'm gonna switch these. All right. Why am I switching these? Because I want my eyes to be drawn to this white color in two different places, okay? From the cheese to back there. All right. And we just kind of break them apart like that. I could move these later. You guys are going to see I become very particular, and I might be like, oh, I don't like that. So we'll see how it goes there. But I love these colors for the board. Check out our floral department because all of these bouquets have really cute names. The bouquet I just showed you that all of these flowers came from, chai latte is what the bouquet is called. I saw one that was called pumpkin spice, another one that was like autumn butter. It's just a whole thing. And you know what? Do what the song says and buy yourself flowers because nothing will make you happier, especially when it comes to the board. Okay. Also, in our floral department, we have this little turkey guy. I might add him in there too. If not, he might just hang out next to my board. But this is what we're going to start with here. Okay. So now we have a base to kind of figure out where we're going to put everything else. I'm going to go ahead and spoon the grapes, the roasted grapes that I did over top of our burrata. So that's there. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, hold on. Here are the grapes. I know you might be like, oh, that looks interesting. Trust me, guys, they are good. Okay. Let me get something to scoop them on here. This is the second time that I have made these, and it is wonderful. Okay, I'm just going to put them right on top. Now, be careful. I will admit to you guys right before class started, when I took these out of the oven, my smoke detector did go off and I was panicking. I was like, oh my goodness, we got to take care of this before class. I basically threw the smoke detector out the window, but everything is okay. We will get that replugged up after class. My boyfriend's a firefighter, so he would not be pleased to hear me saying any of this right now, but you guys won't tell him, right? No. Okay, perfect. Okay, we're gonna keep spooning that on there. They're looking lovely. When you roast grapes like this, okay, there we go. When you roast grapes like this, it just brings out so much sweetness. I'm gonna kind of move these over to the center a little bit more. So much sweetness. I love them this way. I myself don't typically gravitate towards grapes. Like they're not my go-to fruit. But in this setting, roasting them, they just take on a whole other profile. Really lovely with this. I have a little bit of thyme, okay? You could do something like thyme on top of these. Basil goes very well. The last time I made it, I did it with some basil, but I thought Thanksgiving, let's pull out some thyme. So I've already rinsed this. I'm just sprinkling some of that on top, get some nice greenery. And we will also use some thyme throughout the rest of our board here. You could put some chopped pistachios on here as well, would be lovely. Lots of things that you could do with that. We might even tuck like a sprig into that here in a moment. Now, to kind of finish that off, I have some mini crostinis, okay, that I'm going to pair near here so that way folks know that this is going with this mixture. So I think I'll line them back here in the back. Oh, you can't see them here. Let me push this over. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna just toss them back here like so. That one's broken, so we'll move that. To the whole way down. Now you could get like a French baguette, make little crostinis on your own. I say, let's make it easy and go this direction. Okay. I might add more in as we go. We'll see, but that's what we're going to start with. Okay. Now, let's work with some more of the grapes. Okay. Back here, I have a nice bowl of grapes that I've washed. We have the red grapes and the green grapes. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some of these green grapes out. Now, when it comes to grapes, and we're thinking about cheeses today, okay? I should back up and say, for this board, I am going to focus primarily on just the fruit of the grape and then different things to pair with it. So, in the way of cheeses for green grapes, we're thinking creamy cheeses. So, things like goat cheese, brie cheese, those types of things are going to lend very well to the bright tartness of green grapes. Compared to our red grapes that we have back here, that goes very well with your aged cheeses like cheddar and Gouda. The sweetness from those types of grapes pair really well with those flavors. So we're going to showcase both on our board here. I'm deciding where I'm going to put my green grapes. You can always, I have a bunch of them. You can always tear them apart a little bit, which I think is what I'm going to do. Let me grab my scissors because it's just a little larger than what I would like. Well, maybe. Let's see. Actually, I like that. I think I like that there. Okay. We're going to keep them all together like that. As I mentioned, the green grapes go very well with the creamier, like goat cheese and whatnot. If you've been with us this month, I think that Charlotte used goat cheese in her class last week. So if you missed that, make sure to check out our YouTube channel to see how she paired grapes with goat cheese. I'm going to use brie cheese today. Now, brie cheese is usually that type of cheese that you see in like a big wheel. Um, but I love the idea of these little brie bites as something a bit different to go with them. It's gonna add like a little bit of a different dimension. And I'm gonna just stack them like so. Put one under there. Okay, and one more. Okay, perfect. Move that back a bit. So now we have our little brie that's going to go directly with the green grapes over here. Okay. Now let's get some other cheeses here on the board and other grapes. Like I said, these red grapes are going to pair beautifully with the aged cheeses like cheddar and Gouda. So I have this beautiful bunch of the California grapes over here that I think I'm going to tuck them a couple of different places, I believe. Sorry. Give me a minute. Like I said, I'm very particular. Um, so we're gonna add some right in there. Sometimes a little too particular, so bear with me. I want some more of the green. Let me get my scissors. We're gonna cut some of these and move some down here as well, so we can get some greenery. A little too big. Hold on, guys, because we have some other things that I want to put on here yet too. Okay. So we'll put those there. Maybe. Oh, there we go. We got to flip it around. I'm going to tuck them in like that. Now, let's get a few more of the red. Okay, just a minute. Got grapes everywhere. Okay, we'll put those back in the bowl. And whatever grapes you don't use on the board, right? You can just keep in that bowl back there for people to pick at. Sorry, I'm just cutting some more grapes here. And I think I'm going to tuck some over here as well. Let me push that in a bit. All right, we'll add some more in here in a moment. I've got lots more things to do or to add. So we're going to tuck those in. Okay, now, we're flying everywhere. You get on there. We might come back to this little bunch of green. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. Move on. I know. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to get into some cheeses now. So we have some Gouda cheeses that I'm going to, here's the Gouda, right? Gonna tuck some back in this little corner, back here. You might be like, well, what about that big space you have in the middle? And I'm gonna say, you hold your horses. We'll get there, okay? So I'm gonna tuck some there, like so. We have our Gouda. And let's tuck a couple, move this. Tuck a couple, oh, nope, I don't like that color there. You'll see why. I have some orange cheddar. That was Gouda we just put out. Let's put a little orange, okay, in here because we have the orange color of our flowers. We're gonna tuck some of that in here. Okay, perfect. Might add some more to that as we go. Oh, that was the Gouda. Need the cheddar. You could mix them if you wanted to. That's a big piece. Hold on. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so we have some cheeses on there. I have one more cheese that we're gonna add probably once I figure out my spacing for some other things, but just to kind of finish up the idea of cheeses. Okay, here's another cheese. This is cheddar, white cheddar. I like the idea of doing like some cracker cut size ones because once again, different dimensions. We have circles, we have cubes. Now we have slices. We might tuck that in there a while. I don't know about that. We'll see. Okay, let me show you guys what else I have to kind of finish out this board here. So, some things that go really well with grapes, especially since we're already going this roasted direction, is to do some roasted vegetables. And you guys might be like, what? Roasted vegetables on a board? But I'm telling you, you're going to be here for it, okay? I have roasted cauliflower and roasted Brussels sprouts. I did them on the same pan, just a little olive oil, 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. And let's do the Brussels sprouts in here first. Okay, look at that. Okay, that's just gonna go in there nicely. And we'll do some more over here on this side. This is just gonna add a little something different to our board. I love crispy Brussels sprouts in there. And here's the thing, guys, you can make these ahead of time and they can be on your board cold. I love cold roasted veggies, especially like in a salad and things of that nature. So give it a try. I think you'll like it. Okay, here's the cauliflower. I'm gonna tuck that in here like so. It's gonna be nice. And let's get a little cauliflower here on the outside edge. Perfect. Okay, and we can add more in there too. Let me get this cheese out again. We have some in here, but I feel like we need some more like that. Okay. Now, last thing, I know it looks full. I know it looks like there's a lot going on because that's how I roll and there's a lot going on. But fillers, okay? We have some nuts and seeds. So while I decide where I'm going to put these, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Let me pull up my polls here again. Question is, how do you say it? Okay, how do you say this nut? Is it a pecan? Is it a pecan? Is it a pecan? What is it? I don't know. You tell me. I'm going to tuck some over here. But I thought pecans, whatever you say, I think it depends how I say it. It depends if I'm feeling my like Southern Virginia vibes and say pecan, or if I say pecan. I don't know. I'm a little all over the place with that. But what do you guys say? I'm just tucking them in. I like to use them as fillers, okay? I have one more thing to use as a filler too. I'm gonna break up these and kind of put a little bit of pecans in there too with our roasted veggies. Okay, cute, nice. And the last thing I have here as a filler are some pumpkin seeds. Okay, this is a Thanksgiving board, so why not? I'm gonna put some back here with our pecans. See, I already switched up how I said it. Pecans, pecans, whatever you want to do. Okay, gonna just add some in where I feel like we need a little bit of greenery. You know what else we could do? We could go a little bit on top of here, because why not? All right, perfect. Let's see our poll question here. Whoa, it is so close, guys, between pecan and pecan. Very close. Okay, cool. Let's finish up our board. I've got a mess. Hold on. Okay. Let's just take a couple of pieces of time and see if we want to tuck them in anywhere. Just for a little extra something. Okay, maybe some in here. I can play around with this and figure it out, but there we go. A little in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. I have to tell myself that all the time. It doesn't have to be perfect, despite me wanting it to be perfect. Uh, oh yeah, I feel like we need a little over the brie, like that. Okay. And then maybe one more on the outside edge over here. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep playing around with that. But then we have our little turkey guy. He's going to hang out next to it because there's no room for him, but that's okay. Oops. So there we have it, guys. There is our beautiful, sophisticated Grapes of California Thanksgiving board. So fun. And you can do this. You guys can do this. I know you can. Let me bring my camera back here. I will be your biggest cheerleader with that. Like, you can do this. So give it a try. If you do try it, send us some pictures of your creations. Let us know how it went, but I'm sure it's going to go beautifully. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you guys one more time just to finish out today's presentation to show you what is coming up next. So if you are new with us today and you're looking to see what other classes you can join, here is the lineup for tomorrow through next week. So Jenna and I will be on for Coffee Chat. Coffee Chat is at 9 a.m. We're going to be talking about pomegranates. It's going to be super fun. And then next week we have our normal scale of classes, everything from fire to fork to produce spotlight on Tuesday. A really exciting class with Joni on Wednesday as she does table talk with the chef from the Philadelphia Phillies. And then if you enjoyed today's board class and you want to learn more and make some more boards, hang out with me next Thursday again for a board that will defy gravity in celebration of a very fun new movie coming out. And then Jenna and I will be doing Coffee Chat again next Friday in celebration of Thanksgiving. So be sure to sign up for those classes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you take care the rest of the day. I do see that we have some questions in the Q&A. So at this time, I'm going to stop the recording and answer those. So we'll take a look at that. But once again, thank you for being here today.